while back I made a video discussing the xenomorph queen. It was an interesting look at eusocial behaviors and hive dynamics. As a YouTuber, I find that all too often shortly after uploading a video, I'll get this flood of ideas that I wish I had when writing that video. I say this because after that episode, I remember having the idea that it'd be really rare for anyone to actually see alien queens in the wild. They'd spend their lives hidden, deep in an alien hive, away from not only many of the aliens that would support the structure, but especially away from any outside visitors or threats. Here they would spend their days either attached to an egg sac producing more ovomorphs, or stored away, either in a sleep-like stasis or giving orders to the rest of the hive. Even the eggs that it lays are usually carried away to another area, so even hosts wouldn't be brought into the queen's room. With these massive aliens staying out of sight, it's hard to get a real judge of just how big they really are. We've seen Ellen Ripley face off with one using a power loader in the climax of Aliens, but even then I don't think we got an idea and scale of just how tall a queen is. So today, let's put the famous alien matriarch up against some other famous aliens and monsters to see just how she stacks up. To begin with, let's start in the Aliens universe. Your standard human-bred xenomorph typically stands anywhere from 6 to 7.5 feet tall. The alien queen, however, averages around 15 to 16 feet tall. That's more than twice the height of its xeno children. A predator wouldn't stand much taller than an alien, with a higher average at 7 to 7.5 feet tall. Now here's an alien I would love to see in the same room as an alien queen. This is the Last Engineer from Prometheus. He would stand at 9 feet tall with a better view than the Xeno or Predator have, but we still need something a little bit bigger. Well, we have a bunch more Xenos to draw on from the extended universe, so how about the Praetorium? These guys are the end stage for an alien that doesn't molt into a queen. In fact, they are the royal guard to the queens. Coming in at 10 feet tall, this alien would give an engineer a run for its money, yet the queen still stands taller. Just for fun, even though his movies sucked, I'll throw in the upgrade or ultimate predator who stands at 11 feet tall. We're getting closer, but let's move on past that terrible movie. Next up, we have the Space Jockey, and I don't mean the engineer either. The original idea for the guy in the chair was meant to be much taller. While we don't have concrete heights for the jockeys, it's been speculated that they stand at anywhere from 15 to 25 feet tall. Now this would be a sight. Imagine a space jockey facing off with an alien queen. That said, there are other ranks above queen, although they're much more rare. An empress is said to be an older queen, usually no longer capable of egg laying, and are shown to be 10 to 15% larger. But even larger still is the queen mother, the top matriarch, ruling all others from Xenomorph Prime, the homeworld of the alien. We know that these are likely the largest of the aliens, yet the only information I can find about their height shows them at a range between 35 feet and 50 feet tall, but they give no source. It should be noted, however, that both the Red and Black Queen in Alien Genocide were both meant to be queen mothers, and you can see here in these images that when compared to their eggs below them, they look simply massive. To give some size and scale outside of the universe, here we can see Her Majesty next to an arachnid alien from Starship Troopers. These bugs would stand at around 7 to 8 feet tall, but for an even better match, how about the Rancor beast from Star Wars: Return of the Jedi? This was another childhood favorite of mine, hitting the mark at 16.5 feet tall. To me, this really puts the size of the queen into perspective, because I always thought the Rancor looked so big next to Luke in that pit. Knowing this made me see the queen as much larger than I ever did before. So how about the dinosaur kingdom? Are there any dinos that measure up in size next to the queen? Well, we don't have to look any further than the famous Tyrannosaurus Rex. It would stand at anywhere between 15 to 20 feet tall, a nice match in scale to the queen. Now let's not forget that the queen's total height is measured in her normal standing posture, but it's likely possible for them to stand almost upright, getting even taller. I'd say that a 15-foot queen when standing could be around 20 plus feet, but this is just speculation and I have no idea if it's even feasible for her to do so. I didn't forget about the egg sac either, we just don't have any real measurements for the size of them, but it's easy to see that the queen on LV-426 had a sac at more than double its own size. I'd bet that the size of these can vary depending on the xeno and the environment, but there's just not enough evidence to know for sure. Now, I said earlier that doing this research really showed me that these aliens are much bigger than I originally thought, but then it occurred to me, I should see just how big that power loader is that Ripley used to fight off the Queen on LV-426. And to my amazement, those things are only 10 feet tall, and Ripley used it to fight off a Queen, reminding us that it's often not about the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog that makes the difference. That's it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this size comparison vid for the Queen, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about it down in the comments.